Imagine this. You're at the park and you want your kid to leave peacefully and angelically when you say, hey, it's time to stop playing. But unfortunately, that is not what happens. And instead, they pitch a fit and they say, I don't want to leave, and blah, blah. Next thing you know, they're kicking and screaming as you're dragging them to the car as though they're being kidnapped. For many people, they do not have to imagine this. This is a common situation. So let's talk about what we can do to help to prevent this from happening. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Rebecca and I am a parent and a teacher. And in this series, I'm going to be giving parents some helpful advice that could possibly help them with getting the outcomes that they would like from their child's behavior. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel for more. One of the first things you can do to make a transition more peaceful is to warn about the transition. This is something that a lot of people who are parents of neurodivergent children are well aware of. However, this is actually something that is helpful for everybody. Everyone can use a heads up that, hey, a transition is about to occur. So whenever possible, it is good to give, first off, the warning that it's going to happen, and then a second, like, hey, this much time has passed. So for example, in the park situation, what you would want to say is, hey, we're going to leave in 10 minutes, just so you know. And that's a warning to them. Then when the time to leave is even closer, you can say, hey, you have time for one more activity and then we're leaving. One other thing that can help is to Yoda your instructions, especially if your kid does have difficulties with processing what's being said to them. It can help to switch up how you say it. So for example, we will be leaving in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we will be leaving. You've said the same thing, but you've said it 2 different ways, and this helps with if they're only hear the beginning of a sentence, then they've still heard the full sentence. If they only hear the end of a sentence, they've still heard the full sentence. It can really help to repeat the directions, but in a different way. Once the warning has been given and the warning is over, so then you'll say, hey, it's time to leave the park now. What you want to do is present a forced choice because the child does not have a choice right now about whether or not they will be leaving the park, but they can have another type of choice. This helps them to feel like they aren't completely out of control, which does help to reduce the amount of pushback you will get. An example of a forced choice in this situation could be how you walk to the car. So we will be walking to the car now. And the thing that they get to choose is how we walk to the car. When presenting a forced choice, you please make sure that you are okay with both choices. So this is not a time where you want to be, hey, do you want to walk to the car or do you want to just live here at the park? That's not really a forced choice because you're not okay with the second choice. You don't want them to live at the park, right? What you want to do is present different ways that they can walk to the car. So for example, hey, do you want to sing Baby Shark while we walk to the car? Do you want to practice skipping while we walk to the car? Should we walk to the car backwards? Do just limit, if they're younger, to 2 choices. You don't want to overwhelm them with choices. This honestly helps a good bit of the time. This will help a large amount of the time with getting them to do the thing that you want to do. Is it a cure-all? No behavior strategy is a cure-all. There is nothing that you can do that will 100% work 100% of the time. That will work a good bit of the time though, because the main reason that they're pushing back is because they want some control. So if you give them the control, you will have less pushback. Again, they do not have control over whether or not you're going to the car and you're leaving the park right now. So that's an important distinction to make. This is not you're letting your child do whatever they want. This is you're letting them choose how they do the thing that you've decided we are doing. You have set a boundary now. We are going to the car. We are leaving the park now. They do not have a choice in that. That is happening. You have places you need to be. They need to leave the park, okay? This is what I like to tell my daughter is a non-negotiable. There are some things that I might tell my daughter to do that actually are negotiable. And if that's the case and she negotiates successfully, then I might say, okay, yeah, you know what? You've made a reasonable point. I agree with what you said. Being firm with your boundaries doesn't mean being firm on everything you ever say as though what you say is impossible to have any flaws. Because sometimes what I say has flaws. and that's true of everybody. So allowing some things to be negotiable is okay, and it doesn't lead to constant arguments, especially if you've distinguished this is a non-negotiable. So sometimes I will flat out tell my daughter, this is non-negotiable. And I've been saying that to her since she was a little baby, and she now knows the word negotiable, and she has 3. So they absolutely can understand that word. You just have to teach it to them. And she knows that if I say it's non-negotiable, that we're not arguing about whether or not this thing is happening. Once you have set a firm boundary, a non-negotiable, then you want to stick to it. So we are leaving the park now. This is happening. You can choose how we walk to the car, but we are leaving the park now. And it's very important that your child understands that that will be happening. It's very important that your child learns that when you say something like that, you mean it. So if you've said this is non-negotiable, we are leaving the park now, then they know that that's happening. And over time, they will stop arguing with you about it because they'll know that you're firm with your boundaries, but you have to remain firm. So if they are still crying at this point and saying they don't want to leave the park, this is where you're going to say, we are leaving the park now. You can validate their feelings while also enforcing your boundary. This is something that I see a lot where parents are spending way too much time validating the feelings and it's letting the child not have the thing happen. So you don't want to validate the feelings at the expense of them learning that this thing is happening, like this consequence or this boundary is being forced, like this is happening. You can say, we're leaving the park now. It's okay to be sad when fun things end. I get sad when fun things end too. Do you want to walk or do you want me to carry you? And then if they're still crying, you pick them up and you carry them. You're having trouble walking now. I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to carry you to the car. And it's okay if they cry about it. You're doing great, okay? The conversation is over once you've started carrying them to the car. If they are kicking and screaming and crying, at that point, don't talk to them. They're upset. They need to just be upset. Once they get into the car, then you can try like some belly breathing, or you can say, hey, do you want to hold poo while we're driving? You can try that. It might work. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. If not, just let them be upset for a bit. It's okay for them to be upset. If you're saying it's okay to be upset, but then you're immediately trying to stop them from being upset, you're actually not showing them that it's okay to be upset. So it's okay for them to be upset. Just tell them that and then let them be upset. You will not have to repeat this very many times before they understand that once you say something is non-negotiable, that you mean it. But you must be consistent with that. And when you tell them that this is happening and you have set up these compassionate and reasonable expectations with compassionate and reasonable consequences, then they will eventually start to understand that this is what's going to happen. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would absolutely love it if you could leave a comment giving a specific situation you would like help with. I honestly do better with very specific situations, and I think that might benefit a wider audience as well, even if it is super specific to you. So if there's anything you would like my feedback on, or a particular recurring event that you feel like you could use some help navigating, please leave me a comment below and let me know, and I will be happy to make a video for you, or I will reply in a comment. If you'll notice, I'm currently a very small channel, so I do reply to every single one of my comments, and yes, it is me personally replying. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!